This is the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Let's go nuts! It's Jimmy Nuts! Drive out with a car!
With your hosts, Mark Martinez.
Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
And the English Professor.
It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke, the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
And welcome back to another episode of Can Crushers. Mark Martinez alongside Chad, the Guru Piranha. You didn't do your homework that I gave you last week, so welcome aboard.
Well, thank you. Old age, I forget. I'll have it to you by Super Bowl.
You will not.
Yes, I will, because the wife ain't going to be home. She's taking the kid.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, sounds good. So, I'm going to throw you under the bus right now. You knew nothing about Fire Pro Wrestling.
I had just barely heard it from years ago. Didn't know the depth of it.
It's
and
unbelievable.
How fun it looks. It's like you've showed me for the last 15 minutes before we're getting on air here. It's like, holy crap. 20, 30,000 pages of freaking wrestlers.
Right? I mean, there's probably like 6 pages of just Sting.
Yeah.
But you just pick the Sting that you want. You can have Crow Sting, Venice Sting, your mom Sting, any Sting. It's so much fun. The English Professor played it when we were up on Cardot. He had Hogan versus Andre. He had Flair versus Dusty. The little English Professor even played it too.
Wow.
Sylvan. I mean, it's a fun game. It's a little bit harder than, I would like it to be. But you said we were excited for Retromania. And it's kind of a combination of that. I like the old school graphics on it. That's why.
Yeah. It reminds me, what was it? The WrestleMania video game that was so popular. WrestleFest in the 90s. Good graphics, not your crystal clear ones or whatever, but it just looks like it's more fun than, having to be a English professor to memorize a move set to slap the guy in the face.
And we have a freaking Can Crusher ring that you can download.
That was cool. Yeah.
I need to get back into that, do some more with that. So if you're going to get it, that'll probably get me doing some more stupid stuff with it.
Of course.
I'm going to blow my game up maybe and start over because we look at about 500 wrestlers I've downloaded?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that wasn't even supposed to be part of the show today. I just threw them under the bus.
As usual.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get this crap over with. Are we going to address our predictions or lack of useful ones from
Did
last
you
year?
see that we had 2 people get it correct?
Yes.
Our buddy podcast in Kentucky, The Final Count, Ryan Mosley got it, and Jimmy freaking Nuts, out of nowhere. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but Jimmy Nuts makes the right predictions.
Yeah, that was... I didn't know what to think with that when they had Mr. Flair win, and just didn't know what to do with that one. But now it's kind of making sense a little bit if you think about it and where she's going to go.
Yeah, the English Professor also, he talks during his shtick about it. So let's start with the Rumble results, and then we'll kind of trickle around today. Overall, what did you think of the Rumble? I throw out the two things that we hated, but as an overall Rumble, did you like it?
The Rumble match itself, or
the whole card? The whole card in general first.
I thought it was a pretty good card. I thought it was better than the last couple of years.
Yeah.
You just didn't know with the Rumble. You didn't know who was going to win it because there were so many directions they could go. You didn't know who was going to be, in it at all. Older guys, anything like that. And I thought it was one of the better ones. I was impressed with the women's match with Becky Lynch and Asuka.
Yeah.
That was kind of a brutal looking
brutal
match.
So let's just run down the line real quick. I'll talk about my thing. Pre-game, the pre-show, I mean, Sheamus and Shorty G was just absolutely horrible. Whatever. I don't even know. Andrade against Humberto for the U.S. title. All right, this is before everything comes out, and we're kind of piecing the show together like that today. This is before everything comes out. You've just put the title on Almas, so why the hell is he on the pre-show? Okay?
Yeah, I was thrown off when they said that was, when it was shown on the pre-show. I was like, what the hell? You're trying to build them up a little bit, and you give a throwaway match. You obviously know who's going to win.
Right.
On the pre-show.
On the pre-show. But they then have this same match on Monday night. Same exact match.
Yep.
Same outcome. Almost wins. Right?
Right.
Humberto then DDTs, what's his name? Almost outside the ring.
On the concrete.
On the concrete. And Tuesday we find out that he's suspended for drugs.
Yeah. It was a way for them to, obviously write him out of the script for a month. The only thing that I don't like about it is
he's got the goddamn title.
He's got the title. And it's coming out that it's Heyman, since Heyman's kind of the mass producer finally, other than McMahon of Raw, that Heyman doesn't want to punish him any more than he is by taking the title from him. He's not that big. In the scheme of
not
things.
yet.
You're not
I think
talking,
he's going to be, but
you're not talking about when Randy Orton went 30 days without defending the title. You're not talking Roman Reigns. You're not talking your big ticket guys. You're talking your mid card guys that are going to have a good match. And I like Andrade just because of who he brings down to the ring with him. But
right.
I don't know. I think they could have taken the title from him. They could have had a quickie tournament over 2 weeks, put it on Carrillo or something.
Just put it on Humberto for a month.
Then have Andrade come back under Rey Mysterio's mask and cheat to beat him and pull off. Holy shit, Andrade's back. Where the hell's he's been?
You're a better writer already. That's perfect.
They're just gonna. No explanation. Nothing.
Well, he's hurt. His face blew up, Chad.
He's hurt.
Right.
Okay.
So you don't have to defend the title anymore. I want some old school rules back as we're going to jump around. I want the titles defended every 30 days, okay? And I want, this one's going to piss off a lot of people. If you get thrown over the top rope, match over, disqualification. Kids today would lose their shit.
Yeah, because, there's so many things you can do with an outcome off of that. Oh, the referee gets knocked down and so-and-so gets backflipped over the top rope. Another referee comes down, counts to 3. You think you have a new champion or something like that. The original referee is now lucid, shows over the top rope. How many times do we see this in NWA?
A ton.
With Dusty Rhodes, Tommy Young, always were doing it. I know they did it quite a few times with the TV title and Tully and Dusty. That's how you could bring something like that, and I like that. I don't like the coming off the top rope and being disqualified.
No, or
that
pile
just
driver
ruins
and you're
it.
disqualified too.
Yeah.
That's really stupid. All right, back to the Royal Rumble. They started the main show with Roman and Corbin. I expected more from this match, being that it's no disqualification, falls count anywhere. The biggest thing they did is they fought in a toilet, which was clearly staged because there was wood around it, there was wheels on it. He got in the end one, they wheeled it around. When they dumped it over, what's in porta pots?
If there ain't shit and piss and toilet paper in there, there's that nice blue or green.
Where was that when it dumped over?
I was like, I told Sue, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. He's going to come out covered in that crap.
Yeah, at least the blue stuff. At least the blue, not real crap.
And
but
he comes out and it's like, where the hell was he?
Little thing. Yeah, he went into a closet. That's it.
I had no faith that this match was going to be anything more than a time killer. God bless Roman for coming back from cancer, but he still doesn't have the it factor.
No.
Corbin, when I say this, I'm joking around. If they would have a storyline that his car blew up on the highway and he's no longer with us, I would be happy. I'm so sick of seeing Corbin in Ziggler, in Rude, in Reigns, in Dog Food, in the Usos.
We're getting there, too.
Oh, my God.
We're getting this weird sour today. This is
a pissy... This is going to be a pissy
episode.
podcast.
It is. It really is. Roman,
but there is some good points. I'll say that in advance. I'm not going to be known as the Jim Cornette of AEW right now.
We'll get there.
But there's good points on Raw that I will bring up.
Oh, all right. Women's Royal Rumble. Nice to see Mercedes Martinez get involved. Mighty Molly again returns. Stupid things. Mandy falling on Otis. What was he doing out there in the first place?
If you were Otis, you would have liked that.
I would like it if I wasn't Otis. I'm not saying Mandy is gorgeous. I agree, but I'm just saying, what was he out there? This is the stupid stuff that needs to end.
Yeah, her falling out and him magically being there. Yeah, that kind of was stretching it, but I'm different with this storyline. I like this storyline because I think it's funny to me. I think it's funny.
Tamina returns and looks horrible
as usual.
Your girl, Kelly, runs out, and I instantly sent you a text. I'm like, settle down.
Oh,
I heard you a block away. Just
there's nobody. I don't care. There is nobody finer in wrestling than her. It's just, and she's been around for a while. Let me preface, she's not that. Well, that too. Unfortunately, when she first started, she was with. The hell was his name? Mike Knox.
Yeah.
And Kelly was
a stripper.
Was not the little sex pot that she is now. When she first came in, she was
a stripper.
Yeah, she was a pudgy stripper.
Oh, yeah, but not me or you, Pudgy.
No, that's a different level. But anyway,
Shotzi Blackheart and Baszler get involved too. I like they had a lot of different people in the Women's Rumble.
Tegan Knox.
She's Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai is probably slowly climbing to the top for me. She looks good and she's playing this bitch perfectly.
Yeah, she has the bitch look, but at the same token, she flashes her smile.
Yeah,
and she knows what she's doing.
She knows what she's doing.
She's zoomed in.
Flair wins, and this is where I was going off on somebody. The English professor just got my wrath. How this is bullshit. I want to give him his part, so we'll stay on it because he bitches a lot. He's a Flair person. He loves her.
Yeah.
She does not need this. And I know you know where I know this is going. We do know where this is going. But
I just didn't. I like it. I don't think they're gonna. We'll just bust.
Everything's going. She's going to NXT.
She's gonna want Rhea Ripley. Mm-hmm. Now, where this has me concerned is Charlotte Flair and the way she is booked and everything like that. And pardon me for putting it this way, it's not who you know, it's who you blow. I don't want her to go over Ripley.
She's going to.
I want Ripley to win. I don't care how she wins. I don't care if she cheats. I don't care if it's a fluke bullshit like John Cena and Shawn Michaels from years ago at WrestleMania, where Shawn Michaels was like, geez, I'll dominate you for 19 minutes of a 20-minute match or, whatever. They need, if they're going to have Charlotte win the damn Rumble, which they did, they got to have her lose to Ripley.
Yeah.
They got to have her lose.
I'm not going to care about this feud. One, because I'm sick of Charlotte, and two, I'm just not on the Ripley thing. I think she's being force-fed down our throats just as much from the Survivor Series War Games. I called, I'm not being a dick and pat myself on the back, but I called this. I said, she's going to be shoved down our throats, and this is what's going to happen now between these two. I'll transition over to watching more Becky, seeing what Bayley's going to do here in the future. I don't know. Just not a feud I could give two shits about.
Yeah, it's just putting somewhere, getting your biggest names and your biggest up-and-comers, setting them up for a WrestleMania 8-hour card.
Yep. Bayley against Lacey. Bayley wins with the tights. This match wasn't... everybody knows I love Bayley. It wasn't a great match.
This was another filler match. You knew what was coming. You just didn't know how they were going to do it.
Bray and Daniel. This was the weakest strap I've ever seen in my life. Bray beat the living piss out of Daniel with that strap, and finally, 3 days later, welts start to show up. Like, there was nothing from that. It looked like a piece of licorice.
Yeah, it was. It seemed to be very, very thin,
gentle.
And I think it was kind of. If you look at some of the close-ups, it was arched. The strap itself was bent away from the way you'd want it for strapping somebody to leave welts.
Right.
You were just hitting with the edges, and that's all you seen on Bryant's
his back
was the edges of the strap. So it was kind of like, like a top of a moon type almost thing versus, flip the other way.
I again, texting a couple people, might have been Paul, might have been John, I don't remember who, but I'm like, all right, this is a strap match. Back in the day, Wahoo and whoever, you'd want to watch that. I said, how are they going to F this up? How are they going to F this up? First of all, they didn't have the red light. So that was a plus.
That was plus.
That was a plus. Was it a great strap match? No. Was it absolutely horrible? Nah.
They did this strap match in a way to take away from AEW's Cody and MJF Cody gonna take the 10 straps,
which is this week.
That was the only reason this was made
a strap match. Yeah.
If Cody and them would have said we're gonna have
barbed wire baseball,
a bull rope match or something like that, they probably would have had clothesline rope holding the two wrestlers together or something, just to take away that thunder, so to speak. But it was what you kind of expected. You didn't expect Daniel Bryan to win.
No.
They're going to beat the hell out of each other. They're putting Bray to go towards Roman.
Yep.
At WrestleMania.
Yep.
I think that's pretty much a given.
Yeah. This
match again, I think this whole card, even though it wasn't bad, it was still geared.
It's the road to WrestleMania. They let you know it's the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was geared towards the Rumble.
Asuka and Becky, we touched on that, how it was a good match.
I was actually impressed. It seemed to be pretty brutal. The joint manipulation that those two do so freaking well. It looked good.
It did. It really did. Kyrie getting involved a little bit too. You read that Kyrie is not happy and EO is not happy that, once their contracts are up, they're going to bail and go back to New Japan or, wherever. Man, that's a bummer. I mean, we'll be able to watch them because we have the New Japan stuff, but I always like Kyrie. EO is warming up to me, but she's going to be gone soon.
This is the ongoing problem that anybody who's watched WWE for any amount of time, you get these guys on the quote unquote independent or the other federations. They do so well. They look so good. They have just killer matches. You know, I was a Kenny Omega fan in New Japan. Some of the matches that he had were incredible.
were amazing.
But specifically with WWE, they get them. Okay, if they don't put them through NXT, which doesn't happen often, they just stick the characters. WWE is not, and this has been, I remember an interview with Steven Regal where he said, wrestling stopped in WWE a long time ago. Now it's just showmanship.
Oh.
And that's what these guys, Samoa Joe, Seth Rollins, AJ, they made their careers on wrestling. Then they get to WWE, they get the big money. When's the last time you've seen a really competitive match where they beat the hell out of each other? I can't remember. That's what the WWE does with them.
I hate the Street Profits more than I hate the Young Bucks. I absolutely hate them.
It's irritating, but I still hate the Young Bucks more.
I cannot stand them. Though, if you're talking about a car being blown up, I hope they're driving Corbin.
Yeah,
that's
that. Yeah, that would
they rub me the wrong way. I don't know. I really. Yeah. The men's rumble. It's exactly what we predicted. How it was going to be. Brock throwing 15 people out, or what was it? 13. Yeah, 13 people. Again, even spots when you thought, oh, maybe they're going to get him. No, he of course he's going to throw 3 people out at one time.
Yeah,
he's got to get the big. Whoa!
And who were the 2 huge guys that he dumped over at the same time? Strowman and
who's the other one?
Keith Lee.
Yeah, Strowman and Keith Lee.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to have Keith Lee come in, make Brock look like a puss bag.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
no Rusev or Bob because they got in a fight backstage. Why even announce that? What?
I think there's something odd going on there. I don't know what.
Yeah. MVP returns. That's a big return.
He looked good. Looked like he was at the Night of Superstars. What was it,
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yep.
He was kind of looking a little bit gray, a little bit heavier, but he's slimmed down. He looks good.
And he has a match Monday night against Rey Mysterio, and then he announced that was his last match on Raw. He just wanted to show his kids that, his kid's a Rey Mysterio fan. So Rey actually did him a favor and, let him have one more match, which is cool. Yeah. Edge returns.
Huge. I popped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you knew
we knew it was coming
back at some point. Damn, I'm not like going that. I'm not like going
I
that
know
way.
Where you're going,
but he looks good.
He looks better.
He got rid of the gut. He's got the 6-pack going on. The long hair. He looks like the Edge of old.
He broke AJ's shoulder.
He didn't. AJ did.
Right. Everybody says that. Everybody says that. I'm not throwing Edge under the bus.
AJ
just
even
turned the wrong way.
Yeah, he tried. He's gone on. He said he wanted to sell it a bit more, do a bit more for the
he did.
Edge, and
he did.
just and you can see it when he comes down on that arm.
It blows
and
up.
That arm just goes out. I was like, he's hurt. He is freaking.
The downfall is that takes AJ. We don't know where he was going, but that's going to take him out of WrestleMania.
Yeah,
and that sucks because AJ. Anything in WrestleMania should have AJ involved.
Yeah, he's saying that he's going to be back. They're saying like 4 to 6 weeks. It's going to be close, but you're not going to get the match out of the healthy match.
Yeah,
out of AJ, unfortunately.
So Drew wins. Pretty much just summing it up. Drew wins, and it sets up Drew versus Brock. He says it on Raw, and Brock comes out.
I got to go back to when Drew knocked him out. I'll say one thing. I don't like Brock, but he took... That was a shot. That was a boot right in the side of the freaking head. Loved it.
Ooh, loved it. So we kind of knew. I was playing around last week with the Corbin bit and everything. I mean, it's Drew's time. It really is Drew's time, and hopefully the strap is on him after WrestleMania.
Should be. I don't think there's anybody.
And then Brock can have off from WrestleMania until SummerSlam, Survivor Series, or whatever, and the title's here. At least it'll be showcased again. Because it's not the Universal title, which I don't give a shit about. This is the WWE Championship.
Yeah, this is when you screwed over a guy that you owed $100 million to, with Bret Hart and the Montreal Screwjob, because you didn't want your title going, possibly going to the other competition, and now you're having it inactive.
Right.
This is why Bruno didn't have much to do with WWE for years. It's just, no, do it on your crap title, on your Universal title. This is your WWE title. This is your grandfather's, your father.
Right.
This.
And you're crapping on it.
Yeah, with Lesnar.
All right, Raw and SmackDown. We talked about Drew getting beat up from Brock. We talked about Ray and MVP. Aleister Black destroys a local. Seth and Buddy defending the titles. I know Seth and Buddy won, but I couldn't tell you anything about this match. There was nothing special about this match.
It was just your typical, back and forth, false finishes, and then cheap roll up from behind.
Almost getting beat to hell. I hate the Street Profits again. Flair is going to challenge for a title, and the Kabuki Warriors came out. At first, I'm like, because the stipulation, you can challenge for any title. I thought, Flair's going to challenge for the tag team titles? Because I think they want to get the titles off the Kabuki Warriors. They want to push Asuka because she's staying, and I think they want to bury Kyrie.
Yeah.
Who are they going to put the tag team titles on right now? I know who it is because Friday night something happened.
I just can't see. I couldn't see them using Charlotte for that. Her and her dad are already bitching about how she's being booked and not being in the world title picture or major title picture. I just couldn't see him. The tag team titles have lost any kind of luster, and I don't mean to be rude. This is why they shouldn't have had them in the first place, because they were going to get bored with it past the first couple of months with them. And
because they don't do anything with them.
There's nobody to invest in. There's nobody to invest in.
You haven't built anybody up besides the 4 horsewomen. It goes back to them.
It's nice to look at Alexa Bliss with a title belt on.
Well, and her and Nikki are getting them back.
But it's like, meh.
Her and Nikki are going to get them back because they want a number 1 contendership, which will what else do you want to talk about on Raw? There's nothing on Raw after that. Nothing. All right, SmackDown, and then we'll get over there. Your main event is a 6-man.
You can discuss it.
6-man, but I thought it was going to be good. It was an old school stipulation, and I knew they'd screw the pooch on it, but the loser has to eat dog food. It was done in the 70s and 80s and everything. You take a bite of dog food, match up, boom.
The guys hold you, pry your mouth open, throw the, they
didn't eat any dog food at all.
Over them.
Corbin lost. They didn't eat dog food at all, and it just looked like gravy.
I mean, they didn't even just dunk his head under it or something like that. Would have been good. Again, like you said, they screwed the pooch.
Literally.
It's a dog food match. The loser has to eat dog food. Not the loser gets dog food dumped on him.
Right. Why can't you get that right?
Oh, they got to continue the angle.
No, they don't. This angle needs to end. Get Roman with Bray. Not that I want that, but just get this. This is a horrible angle. Heavy Machinery, The Revival, Luchas, and Miz and Morrison are going to battle number 1 contender for New Day at the Saudi pay-per-view. I didn't like this match. I really, actually, there was a zillion false finishes in the last 30 seconds of this match. Everybody hit a finisher. You ran through the ring at one point and left. I'm telling you, it was just...
They should have had this as...
you're all about tournaments right now.
My mind is in tournament.
Tournament mode.
Have, start out what the hell do they call them? Not Iron Man. Gauntlet. Have a gauntlet match for this. Because you can't get anything right when you have 8 guys like this.
No.
And this is a reason, and I'm going to say it.
Oh, God. I don't know what
This is a reason why the Revival wants the Flying F out of WWE.
That was on the notes to talk about that they asked for their release again.
And it's just, and their contracts are coming up. One's up in...
I thought one was April, one was May, I think.
April, May, or June, July. This is why they want to get out, is because of crap like this.
They just want to wrestle. They really do just want to wrestle. Like, and we talked to Arn Anderson at WrestleCade. He's linked to them. The Revival is going to end up, unless they say, here's $1 million a show, I wouldn't be a fool then.
No, they want to go where they can wrestle, they would rather wrestle less and be able to have matches and stuff and things that make sense versus, be on TV every single week and doing crap 3-minute matches. Those guys should never, ever be losing a 3 to 5 minute match to anybody in the WWE, period.
We all knew this was going to happen. Team Miz wins. We said this, 2-3 weeks ago, that they're going to be the next tag team champions. Yeah. And I wouldn't doubt if it happens in Saudi.
That could be a pretty good option.
Daniel Bryan promo about loving wrestling too much. Actually, if you listen to this promo, it really is pretty cool. Strip it back and listen to it. I hope everyone finds something to love too much. That's wrestling for me.
Yeah, it's bringing back the thing of, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm down right now. And he's bringing back the old school, but he's always been good with his promos. Since Ring of Honor, always been good. Congratulations on the announcement. By the way, Daniel Bryan.
That's on.
Second little one on the way.
And then, Brie and Nikki are both Bella.
Within a week of each other. Yeah. And the first thing that I seen on Twitter that Daniel Bryan said, it wasn't me with both of them.
Damn, that would.
Yeah, that gives a whole new meaning. But
Nikki and Alexa versus Fire and Desire. I'm all right with Bliss and Nikki winning. That's fine. For the love of all sake and everything, why do they hate Sonya Deville so much? They have the push with Mandy and Otis right now that you like. Why do they hate Sonya so much? Because she's so goddamn good?
She's good, and she got pissed and said something about the whole lesbian angle with Lana and I always forget Liv, who's another hottie, but anyway, she got pissed and said that she wanted to do, would do an angle and everything like that, and then they give it away. Granted, I love Liv. She's not that bad in the ring, but she's not even close to Sonya Deville.
No.
And Lana couldn't wrestle her way out of a ripped, wet paper bag.
Well, yeah.
But
I wouldn't want to see Sonya in that. Yeah. I definitely wouldn't want to see Sonya in that train wreck.
I mean, not with Lana, but she wanted to do with other, like her and Mandy were up for doing one, but she bitched about it. Sonya bitched about it, and we all know that these cutesy little angles and stuff like that are Vince's way to get his rocks off.
Yeah.
So now she's getting punished for it.
We have a new IC champion. Braun, you called it. But now let's see how much again, a title means nothing.
Yeah.
Let's see how much WWE lets him run with this. Because he had the tag team championships a couple times, whatever. Tag team championships, Vince doesn't like tag teams. You and me could go win it tomorrow, and he wouldn't even know. But this is your IC title, okay? There's still some history to it. Let's see how much they let him run with this.
I have no faith that they're going to do anything good with this, because if
I don't either.
If you're going to crap on your world title, you're going to crap on your Intercontinental title.
I don't either. I'm betting this is going to be... he doesn't make it to WrestleMania with this title.
See, I think, unfortunately, this is gonna, in some way, shape, or form, set up a rematch between him and Tyson Fury for the title at WrestleMania.
Oh, Jesus God.
And, you know, next to John Cena, Tyson Fury and Cain Velasquez are two people that I don't want to see at WrestleMania.
Good Lord, I wouldn't want to see that.
Oh, and John Cena. What dope are you smoking?
Yeah!
Because you need to give me some. Because whatever you were on, to where you would go on the record stating that Brock Lesnar is the best in-ring performer of all time, that is some quality shit that the Federal Bureau of Tobacco and Firearms needs to investigate you on.
Of all times. All time.
All time.
We're talking Harley Race,
Steamboat, Flair,
Savage.
Funks,
Yeah.
Savage, the Malkies, the Ding Dongs,
Thunderfoot, T-Joe Khan.
uh,
You can name everybody's up here. Anybody. I'm just saying, Brock Lesnar, why? Is that getting him into WrestleMania? Cena's going to be at WrestleMania this year. He didn't wrestle anything last year, which broke his 18,000-year career wrestling, not having anything going on.
There's just some... It's not that Cena has all that much credibility in wrestling, but to say something like that, no, that is just... It's stupid. It's anybody with a brain that is functioning and not on life support knows that Lesnar, no.
One more thing about SmackDown. We'll take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about something we're actually going to like. What in the hell was on Naomi's head? She looked like the glowing headless horseman from Scooby-Doo running through, the pumpkin patch or something. What the hell is she doing? You didn't see it, did you?
No, I'm not a fan of Naomi. I never have been. Her spot in the Rumble was one of the stupidest things that I've ever seen. No.
She had DJZ, face mask thing, but it was a zip-up one. But it was not just a face mask. It was the whole way around. So the only thing you saw coming down to the ring was this glowing head.
It was a rip-off of Okada's new entrance, where he comes down and he's in his robe that has the inflated whatever neck area, and they turn the lights off, and there's nothing there. All you see is the robe. It's a rip-off of that and DJZ.
Well, it sucked. All right, let's take a quick break and hear from our buddies at Collar and Elbow. First of all, wait a minute. We have to say this. We're 40 minutes in and we forgot to say congratulations. OVW new women's champion, Raylan.
Awesome job. Belt looks good on her as usual.
Does. We need to get her back on the show and chat with her. It's been too long. We see her every month. But we need to bring her back on and chat. New OVW Tag Team Champions as well. The Legacy of Brutality won those. And we have a new OVW Heavyweight Champion as well. Maximus Khan from the King's Ransom. But we'll talk about that later. We'll get more OVW in as the streams are getting back to being better and we can see them. But, all right. Collar and elbow, you guys know the whole shtick. Hats, hoodies, tees. All great outfits, uniforms, shirts. Jesus, Mark doesn't even know what he's talking about. Type in Can Crushers and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Here comes Al. We'll be back and talk AEW and NWA. Yep.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey everybody, this is Gilbert, WWF's longest reigning light heavyweight champion. And you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast, the best guys there are out there.
So Chad Gilbert loves us, by the way. We're going to meet up with him someday and have a beer or two.
He was one of the funnest guys at WrestleCade. So talkative and, wanting to do multiple joking poses and everything. Awesome guy.
He spent so much time with it. His line was so long because he was taking so long with everybody. All right, where do you want to go first? AEW or NWA?
Let's go AEW.
All right, I opened up NWA. All right, AEW. Moxley starts the show off, calls out Jericho, and he wants to give him a beating like a man. It is only getting better on AEW.
And Moxley's got the whole injury thing going, wearing the eye patch, old school, hint, hint, believable. Wore the eye patch the whole time on a Jericho cruise.
Yep.
Night one of the New Japan shows. Wore the eye patch the whole time during his match. Everything, even worked the injury into his match. Night two, have not seen yet. Just happened at 2 o'clock in the morning. I love New Japan, but I wasn't up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I was just going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning.
It was something about Selena and Kelly, and I don't know. That's where I was at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Whoa, okay. The Inner Circle comes out and 5 other dudes, and they lay waste to Moxley. But then he scoots away.
Yeah, just kind of, he gets his ass handed to him a little bit, but then he kind of gets away, and it's like, something's gonna happen later in the show. This is just too easy.
Too easy. MJF now has $1 zillion, and he's paying the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny to do some of his dirty work.
See, I
love it.
Yeah, I like this. I like him. I'm a huge MJF fan because he brought the Bunny out.
Of course, the Bunny was coming out anyway with the Butcher and the Blade.
He got her out there. I don't care. He was behind getting all of them out there. 99.99% her, which was good.
But they didn't do their job.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of
that sucked. That was a bad angle. Like, they should have won anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, they should have won this match because the Bucks still would have been okay losing this match. It makes the story go.
It should have been an interference, the Bunny interfering and cost them match or
Wardlow get involved. All right, we love Wardlow.
Yeah.
Dude, you got to do something now. Now you're on... You're getting set up for the match, I understand, but he's got to do something.
They're just holding it. And
if we see him, he's going to punch me. He legit will punch me.
Yeah, they're holding him back for the match against Cody.
Okay. Omega comes out. Omega and Paige come out. Paige hold my beer thing to do
that. Was a That was great. It was like,
Okay.
he just comes out there, he's kind of like strolling down to the ring while everybody's still fighting. And just, here, hold my beer.
I don't know
Grabs
which one
the rope.
is which between Nick and Matt. I don't. Nor do I care.
Grabs the rope, does his move, lays a guy out, grabs his beer, and leaves. He's got like the... I'm not saying he's even close to Steve Austin type thing, but he's got the drunk drinking part going. And another even better segment coming on the NWA review with that. But
Nyla against Big Swole. I like Big Swole. I've seen her before. I really do. You could have cared less about this match.
Big Swole again. Great talent and everything. I'm not a fan of Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose is a Tamina Snuka. What's the other one that's out injured in WWE?
Nia Jax.
Nia Jax. They're big, but they're just sloppy. Just sloppy.
Kip and Penelope versus Cody and Arn. The ending of this tells so much. Cody just snapping at the end. And 4 crossroads in a row, I think it was.
Yeah. They're setting up the angle already of Arn turning on him.
Yep.
Which I think is good because nobody believes us. You're just waiting for how
bad
they're gonna hose Cody.
MJF we knew wasn't gonna be Cody's friend. That's the downfall. Is like Cody's getting all these great storylines, but they're all set up way too early. Like we knew MJF was gonna screw him over. Now Arn, we know Arn's gonna screw him over.
It's an Anderson and Rhodes. Come on now.
Right. All right. Last week you didn't like it. Did you like Brits this week? I thought it was
This week was a ton better. Last week, like I said, she just looked like she was high as a kite. Just all over.
She was on a boat.
She wasn't focused.
She was on an MF boat.
No, she just looked like she was high as a kite with that. This week, she had the bitch factor.
Money.
Yeah, and
Money.
she ripped into JR and
Tony again. I loved it.
Oh.
I loved every second of it. She's so goody that being bad is rough for her. And I broke in the fourth wall. She's a great human being.
Yeah, absolute sweet.
And this bad thing is just Mean Girls. She's playing Mean Girls is what it is. I love it.
This reminds me of Mr. Wrestling 2 when he turned on Magnum. They had him turn on Magnum TA. He didn't know how to be a bad guy. And Magnum said this at the Crockett Cup that Bill Dundee had to teach him how to be a bad guy. Wrestling 2, how to be a bad guy. And it's just weird. It's seeing Brett like that, showing more of the sexy bitch, look
Sexy
and every
bitch Brit.
And it works for her. It works for her.
SCU, great. Just the jerseys for Kobe. That was cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't even know who the hell Hybrid is. They said they were off for a while. I don't think they were off or on at all.
I've just been seeing rumbling that they're a good tag team, good workers, and everything like that, but nothing more than that.
The Dark Order, I'm all for this Dark. You hate it. I love the Dark Order. I do, and you're gonna love the Dark Order when you find out who's running it.
Yeah, they gotta have somebody.
It's going to be somebody big.
Yeah, they gotta bring this around. Just bring it around. Get the person in there that's in charge. And
he's not there yet.
Yeah,
you know who it is, right?
Matt Hardy.
No, I'm thinking it's somebody else.
Harper.
Brody Lee, whatever he's going to be.
I hope not, because I think that would be a waste of bringing him in.
He's going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm
just saying bringing him in as the leader of the Dark Order, because you're bringing in somebody that not
he can work
a ton of people are going to know. leading a faction that nobody gives a rat's ass about.
So you think Hardy would be better?
I think Hardy would be better because the broken Matt Hardy, the deletion.
But when's his contract up?
Couple months, I think.
Holy
August,
shit! Then
like
Harper can at least go there now.
But Harper could be somebody they could bring in to and start working with maybe Hager or Wardlow. Or something like that. Maybe a good big guy. I don't know. I think it would be wasting him on the Dark Order.
All right. The Pac promo, whatever. Inner Circle against Darby and the Party, and the Inner Circle wins, and this is good. This is good. This is, again, storylines. I want to know what's going to happen next week.
And they're just beating the hell out of him after the match. They do the old throat angle where, they slammed him on the skateboard, and then Moxley comes out and does the Sting thing with a bat and clears everybody. This obviously playing into the storyline with Jericho and everything, but this goes to, I'm saying it from a month or two ago, Moxley and Darby Allin is a team, as something, a faction. Maybe Darby Allin returns the favor a couple of times, or they watch each other's back, and then Darby Allin helps Moxley win the title at the next pay-per-view. I think that's where they're going with this, because Moxley has gone on the record that he likes Darby Allin. He likes what the kid offers, and that he's physical. He's not just flying around, and super kicking gnats off of people's ears like the Young Bucks and stuff like that.
Okay, great. All right, let's transition to NWA. And I didn't want spoilers. You didn't give me spoilers. We were worried. We're very much interested in the Crockett Cup. What the hell's going on? April is going to be jam-packed for us. Or it's going to be wide open and we're just doing the Crockett Cup. There's so much going on in April.
The only announcement that we get on the Crockett Cup is that it's going to be in Atlanta.
Right. And we're up for it.
Yeah.
Would you say it's 13 hours?
Yeah, it's only like 2 hours more than two and a half.
No possible way. We were in North Carolina. We still have to go through South Carolina yet.
But
is South Carolina that quick?
It's not. If it's only 13 hours, it took us to get to Charlotte?
8. It took us 8.
Or Concord was the further one. No, it was like 9.5 or something like that to there.
Oh.
But anyway, I think
it's
not that much. It's not that much further. It's not like we're tagging on 5 hours or 7 hours or something. Yeah,
and it doesn't matter. We'll just leave. Well, we left early enough, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, April.
We got down there at noon, for the love of God.
Oh, we didn't know where the hell what we were doing or anything. We found a good place to eat.
Oh, all right. NWA. I like seeing Sean Mooney back. Am I the only one excited to see Sean Mooney?
He's got a good voice. He's
always
had a good announcing voice.
He does have a good voice. What else we got going on? I'm writing notes to Sal Rinauro. What the hell happened to him? I know he's a worker, but he's now on commentary just because he broke his arm?
Yeah, I just was like, I thought maybe they were setting up a little bit of an angle
with him and Royce or something. Yeah,
that's that's good. Bring in guys if they got a voice and they can talk. Bring them in, use them, and things like that. They always used to do that back in the NWA.
This is the NWA. Pope and Kingston. This is going to get down and dirty, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go out and say this is going to be the next match that there's color in.
You think?
I think that there's gonna be some injuries and some blood in this match.
This match is gonna happen before the Crockett Cup. Well, is there a pay-per-view before the Crockett Cup?
No.
So this is gonna happen at the Crockett Cup then too. They're gonna have 3 months to set up stuff for the Crockett Cup. Aldis and
which we'll
Skrull
talk
later.
about. Yeah, that
Right. Yeah,
great announcement, but we'll get
They
to
have
that.
so much time to do it right. 90 days to set up their big... And this is their big pay-per-view.
Yeah, this is their make or break history, everything.
Thunder Rosa, then Melina and Marty come out as well. Melina's talking for Rosa. This is gonna break up this little faction real quick.
You're seeing Rosa looking at her like, oh, what the hell ever. But yeah, it's planting the seeds for them.
Rosa has to defend the title because Allison Kay wants her rematch, so that's gonna happen this coming Tuesday. Good.
Yeah, I think they're not going to take the title off of her, but I think that Melina, she's going to interfere, accidentally hit Rosa, almost cost her the title. They're going to start teasing a dissension.
Ricky Starks and Zicky Dice. I'm still not on with Zicky, but I like Ricky. I like what he brings to the table. But during this whole thing, we find out another cool stipulation kind of rule. You defend the TV title 7 times, and then you get a World Heavyweight
title shot. Yeah, I think it plays in. It plays in well. It gives guys something to look forward to, something to go for. Yeah, the TV title is great, but holy cow, if I can win 7 times, I can get a world title shot. It just makes a TV title that much more interesting,
right?
Because it's an avenue to
get
a
shot.
It's
a stepping stone, yet it's a championship.
Yeah.
So I like that. Beer buddies are unbelievable. Yeah.
There's nothing better than James Storm drinking, bad humor.
Dad humor. Dad humor.
Being half drunk and Eli Drake looking at him like, what in the serious F is wrong with you?
But then you add the question mark and Shooter Stevens to this whole thing.
I don't know how they did any of that bit without all of them busting out laughing.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it.
Marquez is the one that kept the shit together. How?
Great segment. Funny segment.
And then we get down to the main event of the show. Not a match. There was only 2 matches on this show. You know that. I was a little disappointed on that. But this is one of those shows that you feed your storylines along. And it wasn't a Raw show of 45 minutes of Lana and Rusev and Bob playing patty cake. That shit. Everything had a reason for this.
Yeah, this was a good show. It was a recap. Heavy on the interviews, but everything, they're just tying everything in. This was kind of like a reset show. Okay, planting seeds for angles. You know, your big match, your big pay-per-view, planning for that. You know, more coming out with that. Remind me with throw in a little bit of Ring of Honor, New Japan stuff that's going on here in a few.
Yeah, after the English professor.
But they're just tying everything together. Storylines.
All right, but let's talk about this storyline. Now, the Crockett Cup. Aldous and Marty have a sit-down. They talk about what defines each other, and Marty wants one more chance.
Aldous says that Marty's being a greedy bastard, that putting their friendship on the line, that he should respect Aldous more. Great stuff.
We're buying Crockett Cup tickets no matter what. Because 1, we're going to get great wrestling. And 2, we have the chance to get our money back if Marty does not win the NWA Championship.
Oh my God, this was when he announced it, I was like, at first I was kind of like, well, that just gives it away that Aldous is going to lose. But then I'm like thinking about this, and not to be rude, just entertain yourself with this thought. Billy Corgan has enough money
to give us our money back.
To give the money back. How much? This could go anyway. Obviously, I'm leaning more towards
Or do we get our... He's not going to be standing at the door, $50 for you, $50 for you, $50 for you. Or do we get a code to buy wrestling gear? Which I'm all right with, too.
Or do we get a code, hey, we're having they're going to announce another event, another pay-per-view or something like that.
You guys are...
roundabout in the same area. Here's a code for either this, like you said, gear, or here is a code for tickets. I think it's a great thing. It's kind of like one of these, I'll say 55-45 division.
What are we looking at come into this? 3,000? How many people were at Crockett Cup last year?
I think just over 2,000.
All right.
I think we're at it.
So it's gotten bigger.
They're probably going to be in a stadium that seats 5,000 to 7,000 is my guess. A little bit bigger because of the way they're going to set it up.
Right.
They're not going to have it centered in the stadium. They're going to have it off to the side like they did before.
Right.
So they can have the meet and greet and, the typical setups that they have, shooting from a distance, blah, blah, blah.
You're learning this shit. Listen to you. Like you're a communication student or something. I like it.
In this the talent that they're going to be, it's
Oh,
going to
yeah,
be a
my
bigger
God.
Brockett Cup.
A Brockett Cup?
Brockett Cup. Brockett Cup.
My God.
It's going to be a bigger Crockett Cup.
Yeah.
More names, bigger names, a lot more. It's going to be more. It's going to be well put together.
Oh, I agree.
Last year's was great. This one is going to be
greater,
better put together.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. I'm going to say right now, even before they're announced, my pick to win the Crockett Cup is going to be the Briscoes.
No, it's not. It is not. You gave your prediction, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or so when we said we hope it returns and everything. You said the Rock and Roll Express wins it and retires.
I would love to see it, but now with
the leak, the people that you found,
with the Morton Aldis match, and I just love the Rock and Roll. Always be my favorite tag team, but it would be too far fetched for them to go through a 3-round.
I completely agree.
Or not and win it. I think the Briscoes are going to play into this, and I think they're going to be the ones to win it and screw over the NWA Tag Team Champions.
Which, by that time, are they still going to be the same?
Yep.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's listen to the English professor, and then we have some hot takes on some stuff that, normally we start with the breaking news or news segment, but we just had a bitch first. So, English professor time.
Mainstream acceptance and popularity of pro wrestling reached their peak during the Monday Night Wars of the late 1990s. Even though Hulk Hogan had been billed as pro wrestling's top banana on the cover of Sports Illustrated on April 29, 1985, Rowdy Roddy Piper had kicked Cyndi Lauper in the head, and Bobby the Brain Heenan was thrilled to be able to kayfabe in public, the late 90s saw The Rock host Saturday Night Live and write an autobiography in which he split pages between forwarding his storylines and pulling back the curtain. Suddenly, there were documentaries such as Beyond the Mat and Pro Wrestling's Hold on America, showcasing the entertainment but also the dark side of life in the ring. One such documentary took a lighthearted approach in sharing the history of pro wrestling with non-fans and explaining to them why we love this wacky and wild show business so much. The unreal story of pro wrestling told us that wrestling was always to be continued. As Ric Flair brawled with Conan, the narrator told us viewers that the snobby aristocrat will continue to battle with the gangbanger. While the Nation of Domination put up their fists in anticipation of the Legion of Doom hitting the ring, we were told that the black separation activists would continue to do battle with the post-apocalyptic street warriors. Finally, the rest of the non-wrestling watching world could understand why we tuned in every week. The unreal story of pro wrestling also focused on the weekly ratings war between WWF and WCW. Shane sat next to Vince and listened as his father said that their competitor didn't quite have the formula. Vince had a point. The NWO was the coolest angle in wrestling when it started, but it didn't take long for the faction to become diluted with too many members and for WCW to lack focus and direction. Watch a segment of the NWO wasting 30 minutes of time without forwarding a story. Watch the Four Horsemen reduced to enhancement talent. Watch La Parka and Ultimo Dragon put on a 5-star match for no reason, and it's clear why WCW is history just a couple of years later. But as much as the formula worked for Vince and his company in the 90s, 20 years later, the formula has become a little too formulaic. I'm a big fan of Charlotte Flair. She's my favorite female wrestler in WWE. Lacey Evans was approaching that status, but just like anything else that's cool and organic in WWE, they have managed to take a good chunk of the fun out of her. I think Charlotte is a superb athlete whose body language and facial expressions help to tell a story in the ring. But there are other wrestlers on the women's roster who had those same attributes and would have created more compelling stories had one of them won the Royal Rumble instead of Charlotte. Imagine if Kairi Sane had won the Royal Rumble match, and there was a possibility that she would face her tag team championship partner at WrestleMania. Shayna Baszler holds a triple threat victory over the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. If she had won, I'd like her chances against Bayley or Becky Lynch. Or there'd be the possibility of seeing Baszler and Asuka at WrestleMania, had the Empress won her match. Once again, quality athletes like Sonya Deville were caught up in corny subplots. Just like Greg Valentine, Rick Martel, and Diesel had long stints in Royal Rumble matches only to ultimately be eliminated, this year was Bianca Belair, who racked up the eliminations and the minutes only to get tossed by the eventual winner, Charlotte Flair. I would have enjoyed seeing the EST of NXT run the gauntlet and earn a title shot at WrestleMania. Perhaps she would have selected the NXT Women's Champion as her opponent, ushering in an era in which NXT titles are defended at WWE's biggest pay-per-view of the year. The point is there are options besides Charlotte, and I'm puzzled why she was booked to win the Rumble. She'll put on a fine match at WrestleMania regardless of whom she wrestles, but I'm not sure the drama will be there for a main event involving the Queen. At the 1993 Royal Rumble, Bret Hart forced Razor Ramon to submit to the sharpshooter, and Yokozuna bench-pressed Randy Savage over the top rope after the Macho Man delivered the flying elbow. At WrestleMania 9, Mr. Fuji threw salt in the Hitman's eyes to help Yokozuna become the WWF champion. And that was pretty much the end of that story. But times have changed. Right or wrong, the days of having a match just for the sake of the match, say La Parka versus Ultimo Dragon, are over. I imagine it's difficult to keep cranking out new storylines to make sure each and every match is exciting and moves the story forward, but WWE's competitors seem to be doing just that with a whole lot less. Last week I talked about what Thunder Rosa's championship win meant. It was a change in the formula from what we usually expect. In the last 2 weeks, we've seen Britt Baker offer Tony Schiavone dental advice while insisting on being called doctor. Can we get Sonya Deville to double-cross Mandy Rose because she's sick of losing matches? Can we have Lacey Evans and Bayley settle their differences without force-feeding us shots of Lacey's daughter as proof that she's a mini Lacey, complete with a sassy southern hat that the poor kid just doesn't want to wear? Can we have a main event women's title match that does not feature Charlotte Flair? While Diesel had his year-long run as WWF champion, Bret Hart had brilliant matches with Bob Backlund in an effort to prove the sharpshooter was a better submission hold than the crossface chicken wing. Oh yeah, he also had a little tiff with his little brother during that time. And a year later, the belt was his again. There's plenty of talent in the WWE with whom Charlotte can work the program. We were teased with a possible Charlotte-Lacey feud, but the goldfish who write for the WWE lost focus soon after. Charlotte isn't going anywhere, and that's great. I'm a big fan of hers. But other talent can have the opportunity to shine brightly without extinguishing the Queen's flame. The Undertaker went 7 years without a single title reign, except for those 6 days in 1991. I think it's fair to say fans have grown bored with Charlotte's never-ending push to the top. It's not that we want her to go away. I certainly don't. Just mix up the formula every once in a while. In today's English Tip of the Week, let's take a look at words that have the letters I and E following one another and see if we can spell them correctly. Perhaps you've heard the rule, I before E except after C. That's because if a word has the letters I and E following one another, the I will usually come first unless the letter that precedes them is a C. For example, Saturday Night's main event premiered in 1985. When we spell premiered, the I comes before the E because there's not a C before those two letters. P-R-E-M-I-E-R-E-D. A few years later, when Andre the Giant handed the belt to the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase received the belt from Andre. In received, the E comes before the I because there's a C immediately before those two letters. RECEIVED. Let's look at a few more examples. Tax season is upon us, and if you're going to claim any deductions, Erwin R. Shyster insists that you present all of your receipts. When we spell receipts, would the I come first or the E? There's a C immediately before the I and the E. So the answer is the E comes first. Furthermore, if you fail to pay your taxes in a timely manner, Erwin could put a lien on your property. How do we spell lien? Is there a C before the letters I and E? No. There isn't a C anywhere in the word. So in this case, the I comes before the E. In one final example, we all know the Hulkster's commandments. Train, say your prayers, and eat your vitamins. But in the early 90s, Hulk added a fourth commandment. Believe in yourself. How do we spell believe? Is there a C before the I and the E? Once again, the answer is no. There is no C anywhere in the word. So the answer is I comes before E. And with that, class,
You're dismissed.
Hey, this is Baby Doll, your perfect tan. And if you wanted to listen to some wrestling talk, listen to the Can Crushers.
So, the English professor, a little upset with his girlfriend Charlotte Flair winning the Rumble 2. It's about time he grows a set and agrees with us.
Yeah. It's glad to see that, maybe his set's being bigger than Charlotte's is.
So, a lot of weird stuff in the WWE this week. The stock is plummeting.
Yeah,
did you see
firing two of the longtime talent presidents. Really weird. Took like a 20% drop or something like that.
Yeah.
That's got to be real good for trying to get fans in and more network and sponsors and stuff like that.
I was just gonna ask, what's your take on firing the two big firings? What do you think? Do you think the ratings is really getting to Vince?
No, I don't, or he wouldn't be doing some of these angles that he does. I'm still going to go back to the thing.
He's tanking.
More reason that he's tanking it to get off of Fox. I still think that's what he's doing.
Okay. I'm not disagreeing with you. The firings, though, I'm wondering, that he can tank by himself. He could have kept these people in tanked, or maybe.
But they could have mentioned, they could have said something, they could have mentioned something, and if you go against what Vince,
right,
or Stephanie or Triple H, it's pretty bad when a member of DX / the Clique is your best option for not getting fired,
right?
If you speak out against them. I just think it's a lot of that. I think Vince is getting to the point where he doesn't care if somebody degrades him or if somebody disagrees with him, I should say. He's either, if they're a wrestler under contract, he's going to have them in stupid matches and ignorant angles and stuff like that. Or if it's a management position, he's going to let him go.
Yeah. No, I agree. Speaking of speaking out, Vince is now putting a rule out there that no more tweeting between NXT and the main roster, because this is all because Matt Riddle's a complete jackass. We have to touch on NXT real quick, too. Matt Riddle's a complete jackass, calling out Brock every moment that he gets.
I'm not a Riddle fan
at all. Again.
I mean, Riddle's, like one step above the Young Bucks in the hatred level. But what is Riddle doing that anybody else in wrestling doesn't do other than trying to develop an angle? Oh, that's right. He's messing with your little cash cow, your little boy, won't bring his plastic-titted wife on TV for you to loathe over and everything like that. So Vince is going to get pissed.
Yeah, since Riddle won't have a match with Goldberg. Goldberg squashed all that he doesn't want to match with him. So now he's trying Brock and whatever. the plastic titted thing got me in the. I don't know where I was going with this. NXT. I told you those idiots, Brohemoth or what, won the Dusty Rhodes Championship. That ruins the Dusty Rhodes tournament for me.
When the Undisputed Era got knocked out, that I didn't care at that point who won it because it was just going to be somebody thrown together.
Yeah, and I told you from when this started, I'm like, I have a feeling that these two idiots are going to win because they love him. I can't stand you jump in the ring and your flip-flops all over the place. You said you want to talk about ROH, so we'll save that for last. Hey, how about MLW partnering with Dragon Gate? That's huge
for them, getting the names out there, more talent exchange. I'm telling you, this territories and
it's coming
all these
back.
Working. It's never going to be like it was, but now you're going to see the WWE. They better be worried. I think, not stupendously, right now worried, but with these companies coming up in the backing and the money and the talent leaving WWE from across the board, they're going to be hurting. They're going to be hurting.
I can see that. Man, every time I watch MLW, I get so excited because they're doing such great things on it. It really, and I'm not saying it's that I don't have time. Because I'm trying to compound everything in to get, as much as we can get in. And I do like watching some other shows with my wife. It's nice to have family time on. Maybe Tuesday we don't watch anything, so we kind of watch stuff like that. But I need to watch more MLW just because it's so freaking good.
Yeah, they're ramping it back up a little bit. They got away
even
from
losing MJF and Teddy.
Yeah, they're getting away from the invisible guy crap and stuff and everything like that. They got Alicia
Tao
on there. Doing great, looking great as usual.
She's beautiful. She's gorgeous.
Yes, that pink sequin dress that she had on.
I'm staring at her right now.
But they're starting to pull it together a little bit more.
Yeah. All right. ROH is dropped the news that they're bringing back the Pure Championship, and I'm excited about this because there's going to be a tournament, which you should be happy about because that's all you've wanted today was tournaments.
I like the tournaments. It lets the wrestlers show, whether in a losing or a winning manner, it lets them showcase themselves.
In the tournament is one night's going to be in Columbus, Ohio, not that far away.
No.
The end all is going to be in Pittsburgh, really not that far away. The downfall is it's sometime in April.
This is what we got.
April is blowing up.
My wife's going out of town for 3 days in April.
Okay, thank God.
Like the 17th, around the 17th. So it's like I got that. We don't know when the Crockett Cup is. We know
have
when
our tickets.
IWC.
We have our tickets for IWC already.
IWC. There's just a lot.
We have that midget wrestling.
The midget wrestling.
We have Imagine at the beginning of the month.
It's a jam-packed month for April.
Yeah.
Lot.
And I don't know if something else is going to peek in there.
Yeah, something's got to drop in there.
And then you throw maybe Retromania Wrestling being dropped at the same time. We started with Fire Pro, but Retromania Wrestling has announced, end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter. That's April. Okay. That's many hours of playing Retromania then. Yeah. And did you see their winner has been crowned?
I did see that. I cannot remember who it was. I seen it last night in between listening to some podcasts and
Warhorse.
some other stuff.
Warhorse.
It's
a shock to me. Some of the people that have been in it, like RJ City was in it, Jay Bradley from OVW was in it, Mr. Jervis was in it. I was excited about that. I didn't know anything about Warhorse prior to this tournament.
They're just bringing out. They're getting a good mix of everything.
They really are.
Big guys, little guys, the ladies, technical, wrestlers, tag teams. They're getting a really good mix of everything.
What did you want to bring up about ROH?
Just you're seeing more and more scuttlebutt.
Scuttlebutt?
Discussion.
Did you definitely watch the Aldous Skrull interview 3 or 4 times, didn't you?
Oh, I loved it.
Because he says scuttlebutt in the interview.
Yeah, that's a shout out to his, to the military, and that was the talk around the cooler. That's what it was called in the military.
All right.
But there's more and more of Ring of Honor working with NWA. Now both the NWA and Ring of Honor talent are saying that they'd love to work with AEW. You always have New Japan in the mix. They don't need to.
No, but they're there.
But they're there. They're going to be, treated with more respect than coming in and working with WWE or an exchange of talent. Yeah. So that's good for them because they don't need to come over here to the U.S. to be popular.
They have a hell of a footprint over there, doing great business.
But if they're going to come over here and have respect, and now you're getting the NWA belt, getting more prestige to it, building it up, I should say. You got all this talent exchange. The gimmicks and stuff like that aren't overly huge in Japan like they used to be. It's more towards wrestling. So you just got throw WWE out of the mix.
I'm all right with that.
You just got such a grouping of talent. And again, AJ, Seth Rollins, I love those guys. I know what they could do, but they're not going to do it in WWE.
AJ's long in the tooth. So his days of doing anything like that again, I think WWE is where he needs to be. Seth can transition somewhere else and be what he... I hate this gimmick that Seth's on right now.
I like it just because there's nothing else out there for him to do. But they're just a talent.
But be part of a faction again.
The talent exchange between the other guys, I just think is going to be so good for these NWA, for the Ring of Honor cards, and everything like that. I absolutely love it. I'm a huge fan of all this because you got just so good of everything.
Yeah, it's right here. Evan Ginsberg said it's like the new golden age of wrestling right now.
It's everybody's coming back. It's I want to compare it to WCW without the stupidity and without the ridiculously ignorant contracts and of course the backstabbing, because WCW, the NWO angle and then Hogan turning bad and everything, it fit, and I see that's where they're going because they got the talent, but they're using it better. Oh. They're letting the wrestlers wrestle. They're letting them talk. I mean, look at the match, Flip Gordon and Aldous.
That was a good match.
It was a damn good match, and it was fitting, and it worked the storyline.
Well, that's about it. What else you got going? What do you got going on this week? Personal.
Not a hell of a lot. Nothing. Just watching wrestling. Making notes. Watching the scuttlebutt for anything on the Crockett Cup.
Yeah, you are on that. I love that. I know I can be at work for 8 hours, and if it's 5 o'clock in the morning, something's going to come across. You're going to find that Crockett Cup thing.
Subscribe to the NWA newsletters, which by a tweet by Corrigan is that's going to be the first place that it's going to hit about ticket sales and the first people that have the option to buy the tickets, everything like that. So kind of watching that. I think they're going to drop it out of nowhere.
It's going to be like on a Thursday at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it's going to be some weird crap like that.
Which good, because there's an Atlanta base down there that's the same people are in this front row all the time. We're in Pennsylvania. We need to get a chance to get the ringside seats just as much as they have.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to get it. If I can't get the first 2 rows, I'm up for, sitting about like
where
in
we
a
were,
situation like we were last year. Elevated where we don't have to worry about, the people in front of us.
Depending on where we're at, though. I mean, all right.
The only thing I want to say is, on wrestling podcast and everything, but the death of Kobe Bryant and the eight other people in the helicopter crash. I was not a Kobe Bryant fan, so to speak, but you got to give him his due. What he was as a player.
He was a human being.
After the incident in Colorado, which turned out to be framing him, the rape thing and everything. He turned his attitude and his life around. He became a father, and a good husband, and it honestly, it's a loss to the sports world. It's a loss to the world.
It's a loss to the world. Period.
41 years old. He had a basketball academy. It hit me when I seen the news. I was like, no freaking way. And I immediately went to ESPN, and you just seen the emotion from the people there. I say this jokingly, but truthfully, it was the first time I ever seen Stephen A. Smith not yelling when he's talking. Visibly upset. People think about it, and, you could go at any second. It doesn't have to be a helicopter ride, or it could be a trip down to Dollar General to get some sugar. If you can iron out, like I can't remember what one commentator his name, but he said, let the shit go, just let it go. Get with your family, make amends and stuff like that. This is just a situation. Let shit go.
My mom always said, I want to touch one more thing, but this is a great way. My mom always said you should never go to bed mad because you might not wake up.
Yeah.
And then that's the last thing, the person next to you will remember you went to bed mad, and there's guilt and everything there. So, rest in peace, Kobe. Rest in peace. And Gigi and the rest. It is Super Bowl Sunday, though. I wish you would have let me get a word in otherwise.
Sorry, the Kobe thing.
It's Super Bowl Sunday. The over-under, the last I looked, was 56.5. And the last time I looked, Chiefs by 1.5.
I seen 2.5 this morning.
All right, 2.5 this morning. Now, that's what we're going to stick with, 2.5. Who do you got?
I'm going with the Chiefs. I'm pulling for Andy Reid. Always liked him as a coach. Patrick Mahomes, you want to talk about unlimited potential,
right?
Oh my gosh. I'm pulling for them, but I'm worried about Garoppolo. Oh, he's only thrown 27 passes in all of his playoff games. Don't sleep on him, because when you sleep on a quarterback, then he lights you up for 400 yards and half a dozen touchdowns. But who would I like to see? I want the Chiefs. AFC fan, got to go with the Chiefs.
So do you think is it over on the points? 56.5 or whatever I said?
I think it's going to be over that, but I think it's going to be a lopsided win.
That's exactly where I was going. I think The Chiefs' offense is so damn good that nothing against the great defense of the 49ers, the Chiefs can put up 48 points by themselves and just blow this. It could be like 48-20 or 48. It's not going to be close.
Yeah, this is going to be. I don't think San Francisco is going to be able to stay with them
as much as Garoppolo could throw for 400.
He's a good quarterback, but San Francisco's offense is based around the run,
right?
And they will not
break from that.
They're not going to get away from it, but they're not going to run for 260 some yards on the Chiefs and on Andy Reid. It's not going to happen.
All right, that's the football talk that you get from us this week. I don't know. I had a couple basketball games this week and wrestling, and that's about it. We're good. Yeah, Retromania needs to come out.
Not much going on.
Or buy Fire Pro.
Get rid of this damn snow that's coming down.
Yeah. Happy Groundhog Day. We're having 6 more months of winter as well.
Bastard.
Have a good week, guys.
This is Dylan Bostic. They're paying me to say this, so you should listen to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast, only because they paid me to say this.